Hey everyone, Pierre here. Hope you are doing well. So imagine being able to, with the click of one button, send the right message to the right prospect at the right time and automating this whole process. In other words, relevant, personalized outreach at scale on autopilot. So before I get into this workflow that I made that you could implement into your system, into your systems, into your sales process, I want to go over three problems that this system can help tackle. And the first one being that salespeople are spending more than half of their time prospecting, right? We want to decrease this time and help generate more meeting ready leads so that your salespeople can focus on doing what they got hired to do in the first place, which is getting on calls and closing deals. Then there's a general lack of relevancy in cold outreach today. I'm sure you, the watcher, have received one, if not many emails that have completely nothing to do with you, where you're at in life, what you're looking for. And so we can decrease this by identifying the right ideal customer profile, the right target customer, and their pain points, right? Really going in detail about the pain points that they have. And we can take it a step further by identifying sales triggers. So sales triggers will allow us to identify a need and reach out with a solution to that need as soon as that need is presented. So, using sales triggers can be extremely, extremely powerful and can really increase our relevancy. And last but not least, a lack of personalization. So AI has now made it a lot easier for us to personalize outreach at scale. Now, I'm not saying personalization is going to solve your, boost your pipeline. I think that if you're personalizing, but you are not being relevant, it might increase your open rates, it might increase your reply rates, but it's not going to increase conversions down the line. You really need to be relevant. If you're trying to sell something to someone that isn't looking for your solution, it really doesn't matter how personal you are, right? And so again, imagine being able to be relevant and personalized and automating this process. I think it's a deadly combo if you have a good offer. We're automating 99% of the process, so there's almost no room for human error. And so yeah, at LeadGenX, I help B2B businesses integrate such processes to tackle these issues at hand. And so let me go ahead and decrease myself here. So I'm using a tool called N8N to create this whole automation. And N8N, for those who haven't heard of it, is a bit like Zapier, but a little more technical. It allows you to be a little more customized with the actual workflows and automations as you're able to embed code in your automations. So a few nodes here. Each of these nodes are triggering an action. In this case, just to really dumb it down here, let's pretend we are a recruiting agency that is looking to place investment associates in New York. And so what I'm going to do with this automation is look for companies that are currently hiring for investment associates in New York. And I can run this, as you can see, every 24 hours. I can run it every week. We can change, how often we want to run this automation. But in this case, we'll say every 24 hours, or we can do it manually. So as soon as I click execute this workflow, it'll post these variables that I'm collecting on LinkedIn. So the data that I'm collecting on LinkedIn, the companies hiring for these investment associates, and it'll post it on a tool called Clay, which if you see my other videos, I'm sure you've heard me talk about Clay before, which is a data enrichment tool. So let's go ahead and execute this workflow and see what happens. I'm going to switch tabs while I do this so you guys can get the live action. So here we go. The API is collecting companies that are currently hiring for certain jobs currently. Then we are using data enrichment. So our API initially only gave us this data, right? And what Clay allows us to do is using the data that we got initially, we can pull and we can output other variables, right? So that's what data enrichment is. That's what data enrichment tools do. They help you use your current variables to spit out new information, basically. And so in this case, some examples of the enrichments we're doing here, we're probably doing around 10 enrichments in total, but we are using the company name that we have here to pull the company website. So in some cases, we're actually not getting results. So, data enrichment is great, but, they're not getting all the results all the time. Then we are using the company description here to, let me unclick this, to see if these companies are staffing companies. And so we're using AI to analyze the company descriptions and tell us if these are staffing companies. So here we only got one company that is a staffing company. If we were to look at this company description, we can see specializing in placing junior attorneys. So based on the AI was able to read this company description and say that this was indeed a staffing agency. And so our next enrichments aren't going to run. As you can see, it says run condition not met because we don't care to target staffing agencies in this case. And so we're not letting our enrichments go through and we're not burning through our credits that way also. And last but not least, we are also using what are called email waterfalls, or which basically allows us to use multiple data providers to pull certain email addresses. So long gone are the days where we're depending on hunter.io or one source of truth to find these emails, where we can now use multiple in the same worksheet. And we can also validate these emails internally in this worksheet also. So in this case, as you can see, we've gotten validated emails. Now you might be asking yourself, what are we doing with these guys that haven't been populated, these fields that haven't been populated? So what we could do is add these leads to a CRM. And so we actually have their LinkedIn profiles. And so we can add them to HubSpot and then, put them in a LinkedIn outreach sequence without necessarily emailing them, or we could put them through other, another email waterfall. There's plenty of ways to go about it, but we can automate all these processes. And then we're using AI to personalize messaging. And so the reason it's saying it could not add the lead is because I've already added them when I was running this example before. And so I'll show you what it looks like when it adds these leads to our sending software, which in this case is Smart Lead. So just to refresh, I know there's a lot to unpack. We have scraped some data via API. We've enriched it, which is basically all these other columns here. Enriched this data to give us validated emails, and then we've personalized our outreach using AI, and we've added them into sending software. All of this being done on autopilot with the click of one button. And so if we go into Smart Lead in this case, and we'll pick someone and say, okay, cool. Hey, Aaron, this is completely personalized. We'll go into our sequence just to show you what this looks like. Apologies, someone rang my doorbell. Quickly had to get that. But basically, we are including the variable here, the opener, which we can see in Clay is this opener over here in our variable. And what that looks like in Smart Lead is, this is to me. So, hey, Adam, noticed that company name is on the lookout for job role in New York City. So conclusion, we are personalizing every outreach, and we've managed to identify a need and just send them an email as soon as that is visible. And not only this, just a cherry on the cake, we are also personalizing the follow-up. So in this case, it's just one variable, which is opener 2. And if we show it here, this says, following up on my previous message regarding the junior investment associate role, have you had a moment to consider potential candidates I shared for this position? So again, not only are we able to personalize the first email that's going out, we're able to personalize the follow-up and the one after that, so on and so forth. This is all really, really powerful stuff. We are automating processes that we couldn't have imagined before. If you want to know how I can help you and your team implement such systems, feel free to drop me a message and I'd be happy to chat. Thank you. Bye.